Hey, this is Megsy, and we're going to be talking about some really interesting questions, and that is the questions not to ask a trans person. To your left, I have Fourth. To my left, I've got Felicity, and then on the end, I've got the lovely Simona, who we all know pretty well. So, guys, I want to ask you some of the questions that we shouldn't ask a trans person, and there's one which is always going to be cropping out in front of us, and the question which always jumps out to me the most is, have you had the operation?
No, I'm saying
you
that's a nose job.
You're saying it's a nose job?
Yeah. Which operation are we talking about here?
Well, that's it. It's just like when someone goes and asks us, have you had the operation? What exactly does that mean? I don't know, Simona, what do you think when someone asks you that question? What do you say to them?
Well, I feel like telling them to get fucked, but well, I sort of go, excuse me, I don't really think that's a very appropriate question. If I know who they are, I'll say to them, you know, the answer.
Yeah.
You know.
Is that like when they come up to you and say, have you got a penis?
Oh, God. We're dealing with some dickheads, you know, I mean...
Yeah, well, we do deal with that from time to time.
Well, yeah. Have you got a pen? I would probably fire that one back straight at them as well. It wouldn't matter whether they were man or woman. I would say, have you got a penis? You know, so, I don't know, you've kind of got to take the piss out of them, really. I mean, it's, you know...
Humour's good. Humour always works, doesn't it? You know, like, I've got several, you know... different shapes and sizes at home on the bathroom.
Well, what's probably one of the worst questions you've been asked, Felicity?
I don't know, that's kind of like traumatic stuff that I repress and don't want to remember ever again. So,
Well, has anyone ever come up to you and asked, have you had a boob job yet?
I've had a similar question.
They don't work.
They don't work?
They don't work, no.
They don't work.
I keep them to myself.
Well, what about when someone comes to ask you, what bathroom do you use? What do you say?
Yeah, see, I don't tend to get that conversation, but I've had a couple of instances where I've been challenged coming out of the toilet and someone said, what were you doing in there? I was like, it's a toilet. What do you think I was doing in there? And it's not like I always have a snappy response to these things. There's a lot of time you're just caught completely off guard and you stand there going, what?
Yeah.
So there's not... It's nice to have a snappy response. Yeah, have you had the operation? Yeah, I don't have a snappy response. I just can't. But because it doesn't happen that often, so it catches you off guard when it does.
If you could say something to someone who asked you a question like that, what exactly do you think you'd say?
It's so context driven, though. I find that if it's someone that I know well, firstly, they're not going to know me well enough not to ask that question.
Yeah.
But if it comes up in conversation and it's someone I know and trust, then I'll talk about it. I'm actually not that secretive about it.
Yeah.
If someone just asks me out of the blue, it's not so much the question itself that bothers me, it's the fact that they feel that they're entitled to ask it in the first place.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you don't get to ask me about what's in my pants in the same way that I don't get to ask you about what's in your pants. And really, what's your interest? How interested are you in the contents of my pants? Because we can discuss that, or maybe we can't. But
well, that almost brings up a question of like, how do you have sex? And the question is, that's like really invasive kind of question, like, how do you have sex? And I would turn around and say, quite well, thank you very much, and pretty much leave it at that. I don't know. This is like, I don't know. What would you say, Simona, when someone asks you a question? How do you have sex?
I just would make them really embarrassed. How would I have sex? I'd just be, I don't know. I would just say really stupid things like, oh, you know, I'd make sure I give them the reach around and all that kind of thing, and you know.
That's a complicated question.
Yeah.
I'd have to show you.
Yeah, and that's probably a really good response. Let's go to bed and we'll find out exactly how we go and do it. Yeah. What's your real name, Felicity? What do you do when someone goes and asks you, what's your real name?
It's Felicity.
I can show you my driver's license.
Yeah, it's got my ID and like what do you want here? It's, I mean, being asked. So what were you called before, or can I see photos of you before or something?
So what do you say when people ask you that? When you can I see photos of you before you transitioned?
Awkward silence.
Because would you say it's like really not appropriate to ask you that kind of question?
Yes, that's right. Totally inappropriate.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to try and sort of find out as well, what are probably perhaps some of the questions that someone should ask us instead of asking, are you, these really invasive questions about how do you have sex, or are you gay if I have sex with you, or am I gay if I have sex with you? Should be questions like, well, what pronoun should I use? What, so those sorts of things.
Yeah, what, do you want fries with that?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
You know.
Yeah, so have a burger and fries and it's all good.
But yeah, the pronouns question is not a bad one.
Yeah.
You get into questions, but someone realises that you're not cis gender, and saying, okay, what pronouns would you like me to use? That's fine. If nothing else, it comes from a place of wanting to understand and wanting to be respectful. But really, I suppose, why would you ask questions that are any different to the questions you'd ask anybody else? Because you don't question anybody else about their gender.
Yeah.
You don't question anybody else about their sexuality. You don't question anybody rigorously about their past. So there's not this requirement that you validate yourself. Why would it be any different to anyone else?
So, well, I was going to say, when someone asks you about what you're doing in a toilet, would you possibly turn around to them and say, well, what are you doing in this toilet as well?
I was just, it's a
your
toilet.
shit.
What do you think I'm doing? You know, you've got two guesses.
It's a toilet.
Yeah.
It's where you do your business. It's,
Yeah.
I was washing my hands.
What are you doing in here? Oh, goodness me.
What do you think I'm doing in here?
I thought it was a roller disco, sorry.
So, Felicity, if you wanted someone to ask you a question instead of something which is quite offensive, what would you prefer to be asked?
Well, I mean, the good questions are from people that want to actually know things, right, rather than actually, just being inquisitive and nosy. So a good question would be, I'm really interested about the whole trans issue. Where can I find out more?
Yep.
And then you can go, okay, look, here's a whole lot of resources, websites, blah, 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 that you can go and learn things about, rather than having to go to every trans person, ask them, and have them be your teacher instead. There's a place for that, but I think there's also a place for people to educate themselves as well.
Simona?
I prefer not to have the questions asked. I don't know. For me, it's kind of like I'm kind of not really that interested in doing Trans 101 with everyone that I have to stop and talk to. I don't really enjoy getting the questions. I don't really enjoy having to kind of educate people, to be perfectly honest. Question. I think the question about like what pronouns do you use, I think is quite good.
Yep.
But yeah, I just don't engage people in their like curiosity into trans people. It's just really boring.
Absolutely. It gets back to respect.
Okay, good manners.
And good manners. Guys, thank you so much for watching us. Hopefully we've answered some of the questions that you might be thinking about, what to ask a trans person, and also maybe what not to ask a trans person. You've been watching Ben TV.